I remember the exact moment the bottom fell out of my world. It was not a grand, dramatic fight with shouting and slammed doors. It was Boxing Day in our car, and Chloe looked at me with a coldness I would never seen before, her voice laced with an icy resentment as she muttered, "I made it clear this year was about my family." Just like that, our entire future, everything I thought we were building, fractured into a million pieces. I am Mark, a 34-year-old financial analyst, and that day I realized the woman I loved, the one I saw a future with, had a side to her that was utterly alien to me. And it was terrifying. This was our first Christmas together, Chloe's and mine. For the past 4 or 5 years, my holidays had been spent with my ex-partner's family. So, this year I really wanted to reconnect with my own family, to make up for lost time, to build new traditions with Chloe by my side. She knew this. We had discussed it months ago. We agreed Christmas Day would be with my family, and then, on Boxing Day evening, we would dedicate a few hours to her family. Just a few hours. It seemed like a fair compromise, a clear plan. I truly believed we were on the same page. Boxing Day itself started well enough. We spent the day with my family, relaxing, laughing. Later, Chloe and I planned to hit the gym. It was something we did together, a shared routine that usually brought us closer. But we got to the gym late. Not catastrophically late, just a bit behind schedule. As we walked in, I could sense a shift in her. She became. Her words were sharp, a pointed reminder of the time, emphasizing that she did not want us to be late for her family later that evening. I tried to brush it off, to keep the peace. I told her, "It is okay, we will just shorten the session." No big deal, but it was a big deal to her. She immediately spiraled into a terrible mood. Her face hardened, her shoulders tensed. Then, without a word, she turned and stormed off. I was stunned. I called after her, "Chloe, just stay and finish your session, it is okay." But she was already too far gone, too angry. She stopped, turned, and snapped, "I am not going now." The gym, our shared routine, something that usually diffused stress, was now the fuse to an explosion. My stomach dropped. I tried to reason with her, to understand the sudden intensity of her anger, but it was like talking to a brick wall. Her decision was final, unyielding. Suddenly, the few hours we would plan with her family felt like a minefield. I did not want to go alone. Not only would it look strange, but all her family would naturally ask questions. Questions I did not want to answer, not when the air between us was so thick with unspoken fury. I became tearful, pleading with her, telling her how unfair this all was. How could she sabotage our plans over something so trivial? It was then, in the suffocating silence of the gym parking lot, that she uttered those words again, twisting the knife. I made it clear this year was about my family. It hit me like a physical blow. Her words were a stark, brutal contrast to what I thought we had agreed upon. Not our family, but my family. It was possessive, exclusionary. I felt like I was being punished for daring to have family of my own, for having a life before her. My mind raced, trying to rationalize it. She must be stressed. Maybe the holidays always brought out this side of her. Perhaps she just needed reassurance that her family was important too. I tried to tell myself that this was just a momentary lapse, a stress-induced outburst, that the woman I loved was still in there somewhere, beneath the anger. Despite her harsh words, she eventually agreed to come with me. But the car ride to her parents' house was agonizing. The silence in the car was heavier than any argument. As we pulled into the driveway, she turned to me, her eyes still cold, and said, "I feel like you have forced me." Forced her? My heart ached. I was not forcing her. I was simply asking her to honor a commitment we had both made. That one sentence, delivered with such venom, reignited the argument. It was pointless. We began arguing again, right there in the driveway, the engine still running, the house just meters away, full of her family. We never went in. Not at all. I sat there, watching her house, knowing my family, who I had not seen properly all Christmas, were waiting. And I did not see them. Not then, not for the entire Christmas period. It was like I was invisible, my needs and my family completely erased from the holiday equation. The silence after we drove away was deafening. I felt hollowed out, empty. This was not a fight about a gym session or being late. This was something much deeper, much more insidious. In the midst of that devastating argument, Chloe had said something else that echoed in my mind for days, a statement that fundamentally reshaped my understanding of our relationship. She said, without hesitation, that her training and her family were more of a priority than mine. She even acknowledged, in the same breath, that it was selfish. Selfish. She said the word, knew what it meant, and yet, there it was, delivered as an undeniable truth. It was not an apology, it was a declaration. My needs, my family, my feelings, they simply did not measure up. Then, the bombshell. "I do not want to be with you anymore," she would said, my argument, her voice flat, devoid of emotion. It is not normal for a couple to argue at Christmas. It was not normal, no. But her sudden anger, her storming off, her refusal to go in, her blaming me for forcing her, that was what escalated it. She could not see it, or would not. She simply would not see that her anger and shouting were perpetuating this, not mine. I was just reacting to her volatility, trying to salvage a holiday, trying to salvage us. And in that moment, I realized I was trying alone. That night, I retreated to the couch. The next morning, and every morning since, I wake up to the same cold dread. The dread of not knowing who the woman sleeping in the next room really is. The dread of realizing that the foundation I thought we built was a mirage, crumbling under the slightest pressure. I gave her everything. My love, my trust, my future. I rearranged my holiday plans for her, tried to be understanding, flexible. And in return, I got a declaration of priorities that excluded me, and a casual threat to end it all. Now, I have nothing left but questions. How did I misread this so badly? How could I have been so blind to this self-centeredness? Was it always there, hiding beneath the surface, waiting for a holiday stressor to reveal itself? I am sleeping on the couch now, and every morning I wake up to the same cold dread. I gave her everything. Now I have nothing left but questions. How do I start rebuilding a life I did not even know was broken? What do I do now?